Hey kids, what's happening? It's I, Grandpaw Peter Koyote, coming to you once again here from the center of the universe, the center of the galaxy, the center of all the stars and everything that is Crestone, Colorado, in the United States of America, or what's left of it. Ha! And here we are, still dreaming this dream, trying to do a good thing for everybody that we know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, or at least that's what it looks like. But even the attempt to do something nice for somebody else, even if they don't see the blessing in it and they refuse it, it has a blessing that goes with it anyway. So they're refusing nothing. And you never should feel bad about it when people don't want you sharing their gifts with them. I mean, you got to understand people are a little bit spoiled, instant gratification and all that kind of stuff. So you really can't take it personal. When those that surround you don't seem to want to see or wake up or open their eyes, you got to understand, we've been sleeping for generations now, and many of our genetic streams here in our bloodlines, many families in this humanity, are just programmed to be asleep right to the very end. And you can't blame them for that. For some it's easier that way, for others it's not. And even though we're all one, and we all really are a singular consciousness, we have our individual applications and our individual ways and our individual paths to learn and gain from, and that's our part in the universal scheme of all. That's what we do. So whatever that is, it's very specific to this reality. It's necessary that you go through it. And it's a beautiful thing that you are, that you have nerve enough to do it, because not everybody does. Being human is perhaps one of the most difficult tasks in the entirety of this that we know of as the universe. And imagine all the life that includes. Just think of that, man. That's a lot. It's one of those places. It's unique. The experience is unique here. And this is why we've been kind of imprisoned here, because, we had to keep it somewhere, and we might as well play it out over here in this corner of the universe as that one over there, and, limit the effect on the whole. And so that's what we've done here on this Earth reality. We've kept it here, inside of, basically our solar system, and minimally into the galaxy, but basically it's imprisoned here on Earth. We're part of it. When we're in here doing what we call living, it's almost like that movie The Matrix. Yeah, almost, not quite. But we come in and out a lot. And this is what we call living lives, Some of us come in and out a little differently. There's just all kinds of different ways to be here and appear as a human being and do what you do, because that's what But we really as souls, as spirits, we like coming through our mama's vagina. The toughness of that experience of feeling helpless and, and growing from there. There's a part of us that really digs it, This is why we look at kids, and I don't care how bitter and hard you are, man. There's hardly a soul that can look at some of these kids these days and not feel a little softness in their heart, a love connection, see the brilliance in them. These are some bright-ass kids that are being born nowadays. See, they glow like Roman candles right away, man. I tell you. And even the hardest of souls, like I say, can't look at one of those kids and turn away untouched. Such is the nature of the times we're in, and that's why such children dare to be born now. They know it's not just a chance, that this is their opportunity to come and be enlightened along with the earth, and they're lining up to be it. So just hang in there for a little bit, guys. It's like, this is like August 1st, night of the full moon. And the energy's been high all day, strong. There's shifts and changes going on that are going to interpret into what you call your literal world, stuff you can see, stuff you can no longer deny. And this is again why I'm telling you, don't worry too much about your neighbors and friends and family that ain't getting it. Focus on being who you are right away soon now. I mean, don't dilly-dally around trying to help everybody else, because the best thing you can do for everybody else is be yourself now. You know, I'm working on it, you know, and I know many people that are, and I can feel it all over the earth. So stay steady on the path. Get inside yourself. Do what it takes to get there. And don't worry about the consequences. You already know what the consequences are, and they're not what you fear. It's what you believe, it's what you see, it's what you are, it's what you know is coming. Hell yeah. These next 30 days ought to be some of the wildest changes we've ever seen on this earth. It's time, babies. You know, we're not dilly-dallying around anymore. 2012 ain't the end of the world, but it's the beginning of the biggest shift that humanity's ever witnessed since the beginning of time. It's a return to what we call God consciousness. Some people think they have achieved this state, and some people honestly have, and they're just breaking the way, breaking the trail for the rest of us. Because it's a lot more than a God particle inside of us. It's the essence of creation calling itself back together. You know, the one love, the one heart. We're being reunited with all that is pure and essential to us, and anything that's in the way of that is being let go of. Now these, we're talking about persons in the advanced core that go ahead of the main line of humanity and, you know, follow the trailbreakers and expand and make roads and bridges and stuff like that, you know. Get the highway underway by building a trail. Get you on back to that return to consciousness. It's a nice place of being, man. I'm telling you, Consciousness, Colorado. It's somewhere there inside of you, and it's over here in Colorado too. We share it all over the place. Babies, it's a beautiful journey. It's a good trip. It's a little tough to take at times. God dang, we go through it. I'm telling you, we just like choose some pretty difficult paths for ourselves. But I'm telling you, and I'm promising you, it's going to get easier from here on out. The heavy-duty shit is, for the most part, over with. The more you can finish inside of yourself, you know what I mean. There never is a finish. But the closer you can get to your real heart, the more you can let go of, the more cycles you can complete, the easier it is for all of us around you. So you see, the most unimportant person is the most important person in the whole of reality. And all of it falls on you to do what you're here to do. Even if all that is to sneeze at the right moment in a group of people that will startle somebody else, that will change the shift of a conversation and bring it about to a more essential topic, you know, which will give somebody an idea, which they will share with somebody in government, which they will share with somebody in industry. And pretty soon, the whole dynamic, the way we play the role here, the economic thing, all of it changes. Boom. You know? Because of one little flutter of a butterfly wing in a conversation somewhere in Colorado. That's how essential you are in each and every being here. And nobody's left out of this recipe. You might have one word to utter in your entire lifetime that's going to count, and you will live 70, 80, 90 years, whatever it takes to do that. That's how determined your soul is, and you gain a lot of rich experience in the process, and go through hell and go through paradise and find out they're the same place, and they both feel about the same, you know. I mean, it's time to come out of these ideas that say we're divided, and let this consciousness filter in. It starts in the top of your head and the bottom of your feet, and comes from the sky and the earth, because it's inside you already. All this is kind of thawing out and awakening what's been inside of you sleeping, which is consciousness. And you will recognize that you've been asleep, especially over here on this left side. But the right side too, you know. I mean, this is where consciousness exists, and then it kind of centers in here. And it comes from the center heart. Little different than the scientific way, yet they're even in the process of proving this. It's okay. So you understand what this means. It's the beginning of something we left behind a long time ago. And as these two channels inside of you become awakening, takes a while to wake them up. You've got to recognize how deeply asleep you have been in order to wake up again. And so you go through various stages of wakening up. For most, it's not all at once. There are the all-at-once moments when you become awakened and then go through the process of awakening. See how that works? And this has stages and levels. You know, so you'll get to like a plateau and you'll feel like you got it made. And then there's something else comes along you got to take a little different look at and change your process and experience in that. And then you get up to this place and you're like feeling, wow, this is conscious as hell. And then you look up and you find out, and you look down and you find out, I ain't gone very far at all, man. Shoot, I'm just getting started. But that's the beauty of it. It's the return to the Christ consciousness. That's what it's called. You know, it doesn't term with any religion. You know, it doesn't really follow that. It's a state of being. Christ consciousness simply means reawakening to the God state within. You know, to admit that in yourself as a human being, and you've seen yourself as weak and piddly and made tons of mistakes and learned and grown and, you know, found yourself fallible on many different levels. Nobody could be Superman or Superwoman. You know what I mean? Yet here we are with the particle of God in us that is God, that's expanding into consciousness. Now it's easy to understand if you can understand the beginning, how there was this person called God, and how they began creation by expanding themselves into it. And all these particles went on and created. It's like nuclear expansion. You know, but it's a singular consciousness. In each individual being, plant, animal, rock, grass, tree, whatever, eagle, hawk. Yeah, the eagle. He leaves the gathering place for the heart, so it will never expand too far. In the eagle has got the watchful eye and watches over creation. And advises the hawk on its journey too, which is also a watcher. There are many of these beings that work together here. You know, the plant and animal kingdom isn't as it appears to us. It's also a state of consciousness, and it's operated through by conscious beings. who are here to help us realize our integrity, the integrity of your soul, the innocence of your heart, so that all things be forgiven and forgotten and let go of. In this way we alter time. We change our experience in it, past, present, which recreates the future. I mean, it's so simple. It's so undyingly complex. But there's nothing to it. It's just being who you are, allowing this awakening to be. There's no struggle. There's pain to release, and a hell of a lot of it in some of us. And it's a good thing to be willing to let it go now. You've shared your part. You've carried your part. You've fulfilled your burden within that. And you can feel Death's bony old finger on your shoulder again. You know, you think the burden's gone that far. And it practically has, because this time we played it right to the hilt. But we're here to let go of that now. Change this death into life. And begin again in this new way of being, this new state of being. This consciousness called God. And you can allow it to be when you've truthfully forgiven yourself by understanding the innocence of your heart in all the activities that you've participated in this world, this reality, this earth, through all the generations of your lives. That you can let go of any heartache or pain you may have created for yourself or others, any numbness that caused you to destroy nations and worlds and shit like that. I mean, whatever you've done, wherever you've been, whoever you are now, king and queen maker, whatever, it makes no difference. Participate in this state of conscious being, and you'll never have to worry about any of that again. And you can go about living an honest life now, which has so far escaped most of us. Can you imagine the comfort of being willing to share anything with anybody you encounter and know it's not going to hurt you or anybody else? I mean, this is a part of the process of awakening. To see how unjudgmental we are about anything. To let go of the idea of the criminal aspect and just not be it, and just not do it. We don't need it. There's plenty here. We're willing to share now. We're not hiding it away anymore. We're conscious. We're caring. Because we recognize ourselves, our presence in other beings and persons. We see the world with different eyes. We're conscious of the eagle and the hawk as they watch over us. We know of their maneuvering above us. Go to any major city in this world and see what you see circling around in the murky skies above that place. I guarantee you're going to see a few hawks and eagles. This is the reality that you're just beginning to become conscious of, that we're just starting into. But you got to recognize these beings have held it for us. There have been those that have held the presence, or we couldn't return to it, you see. We got friends in high places that are pulling for us, rooting for us. And they're about to reveal themselves to you too. And don't be mistaken them for, of course, there's no chance that you would, because they won't reveal until you're able to see them as they are. You want to know why disclosure keeps getting stalled? Not ready yet. But we're getting pretty damn close now here on this 1st of August, the night of the full moon. Who knows what we might see in this full moon night? You know what I mean. Jelly bean. It's rock and roll right into your soul. It's letting go of the heartache and pain that's fueled us since the beginning of time. You got to understand, it's been painful right from the first dispensation in time. We've carried this pain. And no wonder it's got so out of kilter each and every time, and it can't quite right itself. But we're doing so now. We've done it already, man. The tide turned a long time ago. Well, not that long ago. 18 years, something like that. Just about this time of year, too. It turned in our favor. And now we begin to see the visible evidence of consciousness within ourselves, as much as we'll allow it to be. It can't overwhelm you. You think it will? No way. Just let it be. Just let it come in. You know, you will have your moments where you absolutely know. And you'll see it in motion in your life and the people's around you. You know? And you'll be amazed at the integrity in it, despite the outward appearance of crookedness everywhere. How uncorrupt it can be underneath all of that corruption, you know, how innocent the lives really are. And this is what allows the change to be. When you recognize this in yourself as well as then other people, the gig is up. Forgiveness is on. The planet can be destroyed no more. All it can do now is rebuild itself magnificently, because we're here to help it do that. And return it back to the state of paradise being that she is, baby. We didn't take it from her, we thought we did. She's played along with our little gig. You'll understand more of this as time goes on. And you'll be able to relieve yourselves of some pretty mighty burdens, because some of you thought you were pretty badass mother truckers, you know what I mean? Did some pretty badass things. But when you see the perspective from which they're performed, you'll be able to forgive yourself, let go of anything, and not be it anymore. Find out that you've been an unchristened saint as you went through all of these painful experiences that made you so God blessed dark and ugly, and put you to sleep so bad that you were unconscious of the things you were doing to other people. It's the only way you could get away with it. You had to be that God blessed numb, you know, to be that uncaring. But there's a small part of you that always knew what was going on, and knew that if you amassed it this way, you could unamass it that way. And take care of a whole lot of human beings in the process. That you got a heart of gold, willing to go through such coldness, to experience on the other end of it such fullness. When you find out the goodness and mercy, the beautiful charm of being able to share such riches with those who have allowed themselves great denial and hardship. Poverty. There is no poverty. There is no wealth. There's just different states of being and different states of being it. That's all. We're in the same boat together. We do the same journey. We do the same trip. No matter how different our outward paths may appear to be, we're all moving in the same direction at the same time, performing the same task, which is to liberalize ourselves so greatly that we can again begin to live in love and let go of all this disrespect we've held for one another, especially for ourselves, for such a god-awful long time now. It's the completion of the age of heartache and hardship. Let the pain go away, and you've done away with it all, babies. And don't be afeard it's going to touch somebody else around. No. When you release this burden, it's transformed. You transform it before you release it. You let it go inside. You perform in your person a material shift. And you let go. of the painful side of it. By embracing the love within that pain and the willingness to endure it through all these ages of time, through the generations of creation. Rock and roll, babies. Right in your soul. You're a bunch of beautiful beings, and we love you. Got to go now and do something else. We'll see what it is when we get there. Have a great time, kiddos. Love you like a rock.